To kick us off, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome back!
Welcome.
How's
Is this
everyone's...
episode 1.5?
This is episode 1.1, 1.1,
Top one.
reference point 3. You know, I've been fucking using so much ChatGPT this week that my mind is fucking just computing like ChatGPT. Like as in structured, or at least trying to be, do you know what I mean?
Reference points, dot points, refer to,
Regarding,
regarding.
in regards to,
Maybe we should get the Google glasses, where they're like Apple glasses, so you can just have ChatGPT.
yeah,
Nice.
I'd probably put that phone closer to you just to be...
Nikki's like, I'm gonna get a recording. I'm one Harry pretty much cuddling ours, and then Nikki's nearly just.
Oh, you got that one too. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Ooh. There you go. Look at that.
What's going on, team? How's everyone's week going?
Is it Wednesday? Yep. Good. Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it.
Straight into it. Who wants to kick us off?
Topic of the day is lab diamonds v natural diamonds. Nikita, I think that you should start us off on this one, given that you are a female.
Oh,
You received the diamonds.
because I'm the pickiest with the diamond.
Yeah, what do you think about lab diamonds? Do you care?
I really love lab diamonds. I think they give, they broaden the options available to more people. I don't think a big, beautiful diamond should be unachievable for everybody.
So you don't think, because like you look on Facebook and Instagram, especially on our feeds, or at least mine, it's like, because it's all jewelry stuff, every second scroll is like, lab diamonds, this is this and this and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's talking about natural diamonds are bad, lab diamonds are good, lab diamonds are bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you keep up with that? Like, for me, it's who cares, and like who you get what you can afford or what you like. Either way, there's no right or wrong answer, I think, at least. But do you think it's like that much of a big deal? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a little bit different. Obviously your lab diamonds, now they are diamonds. They look the same. There's no differences. You can't tell the difference without specialist equipment.
Yeah.
I think when people were thinking, synthetic diamonds, they're thinking cubics, they're thinking moistenites, which really look different to a diamond.
Yeah,
So it's not
moistenites especially.
But when you're comparing your lab diamond to your natural diamond, they both look great. They both do the same thing.
Yeah. When you like break it down to like really like the basics of it, and like they look the same, I guess. So regardless, and I mean, you're not walking around saying, hey, this is a lab, this is a natural, this is whatever, People are seeing a diamond, it's a nice, nice stone, pretty ring, and that's it. No one's going to hang off your finger and say, hey, what is that? Is it natural or is it lab? So I think it just comes down to personal preference, really.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of both. Not a lot, but we do a mix of both. And I think it just comes down to, obviously, the biggest thing with it, they look the same, but also price-wise, some people can't afford $100,000 stone or $50,000 stone, so they go with the lab option, whereas other people can, and they go with the natural option, and either way is fine.
Yeah, definitely seeing like a bit of a shift as well. Like what traditionally people would be spending for the engagement ring, they'll be using the money for other things. Like, for example, hey, let's grab a lab diamond, and then we put whatever we would have spent into, say, for a home deposit.
Yeah.
Or, hey, look, the wedding's sort of blown out a bit more, and we want to do a bit more with the wedding rather than the ring itself.
Yeah.
Or use that money, sort of distribute it in other places.
I definitely think, my lab grown customers, they're mostly saying, oh, look, we decided we want to have a really epic honeymoon. So that's what we're gonna prioritize.
Yeah.
But they still want, a certain look, and it's achievable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think sorry.
Go on, no, you go.
I was going to say, especially in like these sort of like economic times, people are a lot more, conscious of what they spend. So, whilst the ring may not be the biggest deal, you know, like experiences like honeymoons and that type of thing is. So they'd rather spend the money there. So it sort of helps out like that. What were you going to say?
Do you think like the traditional 3 month salary for the ring is outdated? Is that outdated the right word?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I'd like to say who I think that made that rule up, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Genius, absolute genius
But,
business model.
I think that is, it probably made like 3 months salary. Like, what's the average salary now? What's the average wage? You know, $1,500, $2,000, $1,000. What's the average wage?
It'd be what, 70 a year? I think they said the new Australian average wage is about 70 a year.
So let's say 5. So that's for 15, 20 grand in a ring. Like
Yeah,
3
cool,
months.
15.
So wait, you got to work 6 months to pay the government. Then you got to work 3 months to fucking make a ring.
Yeah.
And then you're left with 3 months for what? For golf and
Childcare,
fucking
groceries. Yeah. It's
Do you think the accessibility and the price point makes it easier for, you know, a sort of, oh yeah, we just met, let's get engaged?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like I don't want to be cynical, but I feel like maybe it's just because of the industry, but we see a lot of, engage a ring 2 months later, when I sold the ring back or whatever it is.
yeah.
I feel like that the sacredness of, like, you know, proposing or whatever is sort of not as sacred as what it used to be, you know? That's what I feel like.
What do you think, Nikki?
I just think, you know, obviously before, you know, before the popularity of lab-grown diamonds, you know, it took a long time to save up, you know, to be able to buy that engagement ring.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of time to.
Do you feel like it's more accessible for people to,
I think it is.
to go ahead with that?
I think it is.
Yeah, right.
Makes
sense.
Going off that too, with the labs and the naturals, like diamonds are not a commodity. Like, you should never
Don't
invest
expect
your
it to
money
be.
into a diamond to expect a great resale. Because everyone's like, oh, but if I get a natural ring when I resell it, you know, I'm not going to lose as much money as I would because it's a lab grown. It's like, for example, just ballpark figures, you buy a $7,000 lab grown, which
It's not financial
is
advice.
not financial advice, but you buy a $7,000 lab grown, you might get $3,500 buyback, just figures. Say example, you buy a $35,000 engagement ring, and you might get a $20,000 to $25,000 buyback. Like, there's still a hit.
Yeah, it's like relative with how much you spend.
Expenditure, so it's like you're still getting hit the same amount. You're just having to not spend as much, or you're spending more. So it's still like you're still going to have a hit. It doesn't really matter if it's lab grown or, like, I feel like that's one thing that you see on the internet that they, but this, and they push that sort of.
They really do try and push like certain talking point, like, you know, those points, but you know, in the grand scale of it, it sort of all works out the same in a way, like, you know, relative to each other. You know, obviously if you spend more, you've got a bigger chance of losing more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, ideally, every engagement ring we make, we never want to see it come back. That's our purpose.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard when people are like, oh, but what is this like? If I do ever have to resell it, it's like, man, if you're thinking about that already, maybe let's have a little,
that's
little cool your jet moment and think, is this the best thing to be doing?
Yeah.
I suppose it used to be, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe after 10 years, people want to upgrade to that bigger diamond. But obviously, if you're buying lab, you can start off with that bigger diamond if you want to.
Yeah.
You don't really have that need to upgrade it down the track.
And I can't really feel like obviously inflation affects everything, but when I first started, I can't remember what, like, for example, a 1.5 carat would be. Like 1.5 carat, I'm pretty sure I sold one when I first started. I would have sold it for like 14 grand or something in a halo ring.
I think we had a 1.5 carat when I started natural.
Boom, boom. Welcome to a day of the life with Harry. just
Just stepped out.
just stepped out quickly. He'll be back in a short time. I guess another thing that they do as well is the environmentally friendly part. Like, oh, buy lab grown, it's environmentally friendly. It's like,
But I mean, it all comes down to origin. Like, is it is it carbon neutral?
But
Is
that's
it,
what
you
the
know,
thing-
are they offsetting their usage? Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't factor in. You know, it takes a lot of other resources. It takes a lot of power. You know, to create a lab grown diamond.
yeah, like I think end of the day, like there's no blood diamonds. There's no kids in a mine anymore.
Isn't there? I mean, there could be.
There could be. Don't quote me on that. I hope there's not. Because then we wouldn't want there to be. But I feel like we're going over that stage now. But with the lab growns, they're made in a facility that's going to be powered. That's going to have employees that drive to work every day. That, you know what I mean? It's not that environmentally friendly. If you're going down that path to like, oh, buy this.
I think they both have their
Pros and
positives and their negatives in a way. Definitely, I think, you know, you should get your natural diamonds from a source that can be traced. What mine's it coming from? What are their practices?
Yeah.
You know, all our diamonds are sourced ethically.
Mm.
You know, traceability, definitely
Yeah.
important.
Like obviously GIA or IGI, depending what sort of avenue you're going down, I think it's very important. I think that's a very important one altogether, is the clarity and colour and cut. I feel like now that we've been in the industry and we see it quite regularly, a lot of things that a lot of other people are getting away with like SI2s and stuff like that is yeah, I know, quite eye-opening.
I definitely think it's hard too because, you know, there's a lot of, you know, online retailers don't really know what you're getting until you see it with your own eyes. And sometimes, you know, if you don't look at it every day, you don't really know what you're looking for. You don't know what you're looking at. So I think it comes down to, you know, working with a jeweler that you trust to get you the best product.
Yeah, I agree. Welcome back. Hey.
Welcome back to the pod. Yeah, what were we saying?
I think we pretty much covered that. You'll hear in the edit.
Yep.
I was just saying sort of the whole propaganda of
Ethically.
like ethically sourced, and then
Yeah.
like we were saying we hope that there is any more blood diamonds, where there are kids in mines pulling these diamonds out. I feel like it'd be very much a company that's putting machines and employees to do all that, where like at the end of the day, these lab growns are made in a facility that needs power, that has employees that drive to work, that, you know, like it's not
Not to mention that, like the fucking power that it takes to power one of those machines.
So I feel like you look at, there's pros and cons to look at it both ways.
I think naturals. I was talking to one of our suppliers. I was talking to one of our suppliers the other day. They've got like I guess I don't know what you would call it, but it's like a certificate showing what mine the diamond came from, like a certificate of origin, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, they've got obviously that mine's got, you know, ethics certificates and whatever else. So like you can almost like track it down the line,
Yeah.
which is I guess a bit more what was I gonna say? A bit more like friendly, you know?
Yeah.
Like ethical.
Really touched on that. The traceability, you know,
Traceability,
knowing.
Just building relationships with your jeweler, and then they would have built a relationship with their suppliers and everything like that, knowing that, you know, it comes from a trusted source.
Yeah.
Probably another one. This week's State of Origin kicked off this week. What do you think about, for example, I would refer State of Origin to like NBA All-Stars week, with sort of the hype about the mid-season. What do you think about sort of footy players and sports players in Australia, and like the jewellery scene and the fashion scene?
I think that it is becoming more of a thing. I don't think it's like a big thing. Like all the players obviously don't do it, but a few players do, and I feel like everyone else is slowly sort of following suit. I would like to see more players, you know, put a bit more effort, I guess, into, you know, like for example, you look at like, you know, NBA stuff or NFL or whatever, you know, they get blinged up, they got watches, they got brooches, like all these, you know, they're utilizing sort of every piece of like, or every different aspect of jewelry that they can, you know, kids idolize them, and I guess everyone looks at them like someone that they would want to be like or whatever. So, but the thing with Australian sports, I feel like, well, number one, the pay packets aren't the same like the US ones,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
I agree.
affects it. And also the bit of the old tall poppy in Australia, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like tall poppy kicks in a fair bit when it comes to, especially in the sports star, because they are in the eye of the media so much.
Yeah.
That as soon as they do one thing wrong, it might not seem wrong to them, or I don't know, but then there's always someone straight away like, oh, you know,
Yeah, everyone's hypercritical of whatever they
he
do.
needs to sack, or it's like, hey man, he just like Reece Walsh painted his nails because he paints them with his daughter.
Yeah.
He still gets slammed for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like something that they don't really know the backstory of, that he just does to spend time with his daughter because he's a father, and then
Yeah.
she's, you know, his daughter. What's he going to go out and build a cubby house with her? She wants to do nails and teacup parties, and you know what I mean? No, I don't think any dad should be strong enough not to sit down and have a teacup party.
Yeah.
I do.
I feel, yeah, fucking oath. I feel like because they're in the limelight so much, like anything they do, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. So like that is what it is, and I'm sure they're fucking used to it, and they just accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
So you think they're afraid to be like too flashy?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I feel like that's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, yeah, they walk out of the house and, you know.
It's like, I know James Tedesco has a Rolex and stuff like that, and because he's with the Sydney Roosters and they're known for having like the salary cut sombrero and paper bags,
What's that?
like they've got endless money.
Oh, okay. Is that because of
Old Uncle Nick, he's just, I guess they're just good at how they pay their players. They're just very smart in the management of funds.
is are you talking about the Roosters?
Yeah, the Roosters.
Wow, sorry, I was thinking about the fucking Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs.
I was just thinking about what's his name? Fucking Russell Crowe. Is he still a part of
He's
it?
still in there. He's still in there. So, but I feel like even then he still gets blasted for, you know, like having nice things.
Yeah. Like Josh Addo-Carr, always rocking a rollie, like a day.
Yeah, he's always have his
rocking,
rope
like, a
chain. Yeah, he's always rocking the ropey. Like little things like that. Like I guess normal people wouldn't pick up on. That's something like we sort of pick up on.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to like do like the Dally M's or something like that, and pair up with like a player and
Do like a ring for it or
do
something.
like a ring,
cool.
or you know, get something cool for it so they can sort of, you know, sort of showcase a bit. Because I feel like now that we're rugby league, especially, that's tapping into like the American side of things. How they go to Vegas every year and they want to try and buy, like, you know, doing team and stuff over there. I feel like it's probably the time for it to happen.
Are they doing that to get sponsors from over there?
Yeah, just to grow the game.
And how would that work with their like salary caps and shit like that?
I don't know. I think they'd have to put some more money into it. Because like you look at, for example, that quarterback for the draft recently, I think it was Saunders or something. He went like 6th round, 76th pick. He just signed a 4-year contract worth $5.5 million.
Over 4 years.
Yeah, over 4 years. So that's like, here's that many rounds, that many players down.
Oh, okay. So he's like, we'll wait, like
He's
back of the pack.
well
type of thing.
behind
right.
everyone else,
and
and
he's still getting,
signs that.
because
sort
like,
of
what's the biggest pay in Australia? Not biggest pay, but like for sports, like $1 million.
Oh, I think Jerome Luai just signed Dylan Brown just signed a 10-year deal with Knights. It's worth like 1.3 a year.
Yeah, right. And that's like
That's our biggest ever contract.
that's obviously
So it's 13 million over 10 years.
yeah.
Like
That's relative to how much they bring in as well. Not just them. I mean, like the games.
the games, yeah. So that's obviously they got their salary cap, so they think that player can, you know,
But still, like, you know, there's ways around making things like that affordable, you know, like obviously like the technology we have now, all that type of stuff makes everything, can make everything more affordable and more accessible for everyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like our thing. Like, yeah, we make expensive stuff, but we make like reasonably priced things as well.
Yeah, like nothing's out of limit for us. Like we can go as crazy as
Yeah.
you want, or we can just go exactly what you need. Like there's sort of nothing sort of off limits. With some things are, but yeah, there's like not much that we sort of can't cater for.
Yeah.
Is
Even
there
still.
any pieces that you've said no to?
No,
No,
I'm not a big no person. I'll try and give everything a crack. Like we've done the Pokeball with the watch inside of it, done the cigarette case, we've done the lighter, like
we made little medallions, like
little
this.
medallions, You've done
Silver
the
things, like it's all.
that footy club that you did.
Yeah, the
thing,
AFL.
AFL
Up
footy
in
club
Coomera
thing.
Magpies, we did little pendants for them.
Yeah, then we did the Brisbane Heat Championship,
Yeah.
rings. Yeah, there's not much that we can't do. Obviously, like I think it's the time that's the issue. Like for example, that Jason of Beverly Hills does the NBA championship rings, so they don't. When they win the championship, they don't get the rings. They as soon as that's finished and they win, that Jason goes into design process. He has all the way up until the new season starts, and on the first round of the first game, that's when they get presented. So they'll have around 4.5, 5 months to design, manufacture, and have this all done. Which, when you break that down, you know, it's quite a long time.
It is, but all of their stuff is like super customized. Like each player's individual, you know, player numbers, you know, how many Super Bowls they've done or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like it's all really super customized. I feel like the BBL thing, like they won, and then we had, you know, after all like the emails and the logistics of things, well, we had probably 3 or 4 months to get through, and we put forward a design first. So we had that sort of under wraps, but obviously we had to, you know, chop and change it a little bit to make it suit. But they were still all customized to the players' numbers and that type of
Players'
thing.
numbers, sizes, everything like that. It'd be cool to get into like the AFL and the NRL. I feel like we don't really capitalize on that as a fan.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, you know, like, okay, the rings are, you know, they're nice and everything like that, but I feel like we can, given the time that we have to work and how big they want the game and what it's worth and everything like that.
It has to be more entertaining. I think it's what it comes down to. Like America and American sports, like, is just full entertainment non-stop from the start of the show to the end of the show, all entertainment.
Yeah.
And I feel like jewelry plays a part in that as well.
Yeah, big time.
I don't think we've grasped that here yet, you know? Like the games are cool, like you go into the Origin or whatever, atmosphere is amazing, you know, but the whole, you know, the back end of it, like for example, making the players like celebrities in a way, you know what I mean? Like all adds to the flair of it. I feel like we're not really there yet in Australia in a way.
I do like, you know, the BBL, the documentary.
Yeah, that was cool.
Making the rings, I think it really adds to like the story, the journey,
Yeah, for sure.
and
I
definitely
think it's important.
the meaning of the piece.
The key word, they're like documenting the journey of everything.
Yeah.
If you don't document the journey, you just go from A to B. It's not as interesting.
Yeah.
Nikki, gold price, fluctuations. What are we at today? I think we're at like 164. Yesterday it was at 150.
162 yesterday.
Yeah.
Today I think it was 164.
Yeah, 159 on Monday.
What's it gonna be tomorrow?
Who knows, man? But someone's making some gangbuster dollars. Either they're shorting it or they're buying low, like obviously selling high. Like I don't know what's going on, you know, because like gold's meant to be like a stable commodity, which recently hasn't been, you know, going up and down $20 in like probably 2 months.
Yeah.
It's wild. It comes to a point where it levels, you know, like we've seen that always. Like it'll come to, for example, it's been hovering 160 for the last few months, whether it's plus $5 or whether it's plus $15 or minus $5, you know, it's still up and down.
Yeah.
It's still sitting around there, which is like, I guess we're used to like quoting based off that price.
Yeah, which
So
makes
hopefully
it,
that's where it sits.
makes it sort of a little bit difficult sometimes with quoting. You know, you could be out $3 or $4 a gram within a matter of 12 hours, which if you're quoting on a large piece can, you know,
Thousands.
yeah, and sort of you can't, you've got to absorb it, unfortunately, because that's the industry and that's what's going on in the world at the moment.
Yeah. Good old Trumpy.
So,
Bit of economics. Like we have to look at this shit daily.
yeah,
It's not just like, oh, design a piece and send it off and see you later. Like it's still got to be feasible, like
Yeah.
money wise, you know.
I think it comes down to two, like, are you trying to buy jewelry as an investment piece, or
Yeah.
are you just, I think you should buy things because they're beautiful and you like them.
This is the like. I thought like that pre-COVID. You know what I mean? And then when COVID hit, everyone was stuck in Australia. No one could go, or stuck wherever they were. No one can go anywhere. And they were still making money working. Government's giving out grants and whatever else, any benefits or whatever it was. Like watches went crazy.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Gold obviously went up. Not as much as what I thought it would, but it went up. So I feel like that mentality of like, if I spend money on something that's a luxury good, it should net me more, if not at least the same. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I feel like maybe that's rolled on a little bit in everyone's mentality, because it's still a big thing. Like, oh, a Rolex is an investment. Is this an investment? Is that an investment? You know? And obviously everyone's just trying to be smart with their money in a way. And it's taken like the whole enjoyment, not the whole enjoyment, but the most important thing about jewelry is that, it's an individual thing. And if you see it and you like it, that's why you buy it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's,
Or like a celebration of
Yeah,
some part of your life. Like
milestones.
Rolexes were generally, back in the day, gifted as an appreciation of either hard work or
Yep, absolutely.
recognize that you've done something, good.
especially in like big companies and stuff, like that was their 10 year, 10 years here with the company, they give you a Rolex with the logo engraved on the back,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
even
Can't wait to get my CBD Rolex.
when you got 4 years left. Touching
Harris
on
is like,
that,
you're fired.
touching on that little story, we got we actually have a Rolex in stock that I told you about this, I think. Maybe I did. The date.
Oh, yeah,
36 mil.
Yeah.
The guy that sold it to us played polo with Kerry Packer.
Yeah.
All right. And they had some whatever club championship and whatever else. And he was on Packer's team and they won the championship. And Packer invited him back to their house. And he gifted the players, Kerry Packer gifted his teammates all these day dates, Rolex day date, 36 mils.
Yeah.
There was no like documents supporting, but he showed me like photos of them playing, like all this type of stuff. So like little stories like that, I feel like give value to, and like those little milestones, like that's what it should be about. I bought this when I had my first kid or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
So Kerry, if you're listening,
He's
if
dead.
you're looking for some polo players, we're ready to go.
Maybe in another life. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna get back to enjoying things for what they are, which is
And then, like with the watch market, I don't know how you feel, but I reckon it's definitely pulled back to somewhat normality.
I think prices have. I think there's a lot of people still buying though, but it's like the demand of you don't sell them as easily as what you used to, because it's all about the price now. Before it was just like, what can you get and when can you get it? Whereas now is what can you get and how much does it cost?
Yeah. I agree.
And I think the really like the popular ones too, like you get it and 5 different people want it straight off the bat.
And it's hard, like it's getting harder because everyone's so informed, it's getting harder to get stock. People are shopping around. There's more dealers about, like that type of thing.
Yeah, everyone's got the Facebook groups and everything like that now, where before it was pretty exclusive to like mainly just dealers. I feel like there's a lot of people in those groups that are just sort of
just normal people,
Normal people.
like a little side hustle type of thing.
Yeah.
And that all started from COVID, you know? Like it opened up fucking 50 new dealers or whatever.
That's it, really.
Any cool things that we're working on at the minute? What's exciting that we're working on right now?
We got that video dropping of that ring.
Yeah, we're doing
That's exciting.
a pretty cool ring.
Yeah, that didn't really give you anything at all. Just a ring. That's cool. We got a video about the
Yeah,
drop.
I mean, it's fucking next level.
Yeah, it's like enough where we don't want to say what it is, but it's a ring and there's a video
And it's sick.
and it's sick.
And it really, some cool design things in there
Yeah.
that we pondered on for a little while.
That's cool. The detail in the pendant. Spoke about it yesterday. I don't know if we can say anything about it.
Yep, that one. Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because I don't know where everyone is at with their jobs. I think we're just getting a bit more creative with the way that things are done. Like we're doing like invisible set and cutting special stones to fit in places. Like I feel like we're just sort of got a bit of a vibe at the moment.
Yeah.
We're going with it.
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's fun designing stuff and making stuff that, you know, it's like you're releasing like I don't know, if you're a clothing company, you're releasing a new shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, engagement rings as usual.
Got some big ones coming.
Nikki's been a savage on that, like always.
Nikki, just diamond queen. Natural or lab?
She is
Lots
your
of
gal.
lucky ladies out there.
Yes. Wedding bands. Yeah,